Hello, everybody. I hope we're all doing beautiful this Sunday evening. I'm back from Hawaii in Vancouver, obviously a different climate. Super beautiful here. Ski season starting. So tonight we're going to return to something. It's very simple and it's very powerful at the same time. Over the last weeks, we've shown how alignment feels when it first arrives, how it's felt in the body as it settles, how thoughts soften, and just how life starts to respond with more ease. A couple last weeks, we've been shown how stillness, it actually carries a real intelligence. It's not just something that's passive. And we've learned how to coming into our center actually changes the way the world meets you, how the reality around you starts to shift instead of you shifting to reality. So let's just take a deep breath in right now, just so we all come together. Noticing where you are. How are you sitting, standing, walking, lying down? You and your body. Just arriving here. And another deep breath in and really fill your lungs up and feel that air in your lungs. This is when we start to connect with our inner workings, us, in our body. It's the most important aspect when we talk about manifesting. That's another meditation. So tonight is about bringing that center. Starts in the center of our brain, that sphere, noticing the left side of the brain, the right side, and then again coming centered into that point. And this, if you like, is where we rest. It's our home. It's where everything begins. And everything we do here is space-time. It's not about going out there. I have very little interest in conversations about how the universe works or connection with aliens or very complex concepts that have nothing to do with this density here. Everything space-time is about how do we bring in, become aware of these higher order principles into density, into my life, into my relationships, into the opportunities and possibilities that are just waiting. So let's take another breath in. And tonight we're going to do that, bringing that center into our everyday life, into the mornings, the conversations, the choices, the way we move through the day. So tonight's transmission is going to show you how your center travels with you. It doesn't stay in meditation. That's when we stop meditating and we actually become a meditation. And it becomes a place you live from. So when you sit in this space, this centeredness, life begins to organize around your clarity. And you'll find that, you'll see, you'll notice. Your timing improves. Decisions, they just become simpler. You feel more grounded in your body and more open in your mind. Just your overall day, it feels smoother. It's because you're starting to meet it from a steadier place inside you. No more of this hijacking. Our nervous system is so conditioned that the second we open our eyes, it goes in that survival mode, especially now with information flowing so freely through our iPhones or all the other means out there. But the second we wake up, our nervous system is triggered, waiting for what is the next attack. And so, as you, I'm sure, have experienced yourself, you might wake up, you might meditate, you feel good, and it's one email, one conversation, one unexpected invoice. And people go down the rabbit hole because they're not centered, there's no structure. I'm not talking about a physical structure. It's that timeless self. Just take another breath in right now. So what if you could go through the day and the nervous system was in alignment and you weren't always, even if it is unconsciously, just waiting for the next, if you like, drama du jour to happen. But you always maintained that centeredness, that groundness, that awareness. That's true empowerment. So tonight we're going to help you find that inner alignment as something real. It's available and it's always here. If you like, it kind of like becomes a quiet engine inside you, guiding you, holding you, just helping everything flow with more ease. So again, another deep breath in, and just notice your spine right now. This amazing mechanism that's doing much more than just holding your body up, letting you be mobile. It's a transmitter, it's a receiver, center. So just notice those 33 vertebrae as you work your way from your sphere, that center point in your head, your brain, and just start walking yourself down those 33 vertebrae, observing. Maybe observe the texture of the bones, the spaces between the vertebrae. Awareness settles into a natural orientation where effort drops away and attention gathers by itself. There's a quiet sense of arriving rather than doing. And as you're observing your spine, you're in your center. This is what's happening, the system. Outside of the mind, the system recognizes a position. It already knows how to stand it. So the body organizes around this recognition. The spine becomes a clear internal reference. And orientation stabilizes vertically through the body into the earth, and then reversing upwards through space. So from here, the movement begins to circulate. That movement, for those of you who are new, it starts in the center of your sphere, in the center of your brain, and noticing the left side of the brain, noticing the right side, and then coming together, centered, how these two sides fuse with amazing alignment and synchronicity. Just notice that. And then from here, we start to flow down through the spine, through the body, into the earth, tuning into these frequencies of the earth, the same density that we're in, so of course we have access to it. These pure frequencies. And then we reverse upwards through the spine, returning to the center of the sphere. From here, you radiate outwards, arm's length around you. This isn't imaginary. It's a functional geometry that brings the system into coherence. Everything we do is experiential. You experience it. It's not about learning it, conceptualizing it, discussing it. How do you feel when you do this? So you don't have to take my word for it. Practice. And just another nice breath in. And let's relax here. This is Sunday evening. Or if you're listening to this on the recording, the playback, wherever you are, just this one time while we're doing this meditation, just be here. No expectations, nothing's required of you. You've already done it, you've shown up. So let's relax into it and let our higher self, our timeless self, spirit, whatever you call it, take over and show you that you experience it instead of always outlining, trying to calculate, figure out what it means and how to ascend. Let's just be it. And it just settles. Our perception becomes cleaner. Timing becomes easier to read because awareness is now positioned rather than searching. We're always searching. We're always in that next moment that's going to be the moment. Notice you never get there. What if the next moment was actually this moment right now? Because this moment, the present, in your body, that's where everything is created from. Life continues to move. What we're doing here is that we remain well placed within it. Being able to read events from coherence rather than urgency. So stay with this orientation and just allow the body and your field, that arm's length around you, to synchronize fully. Just letting everything settle into alignment. And as you do that, we'll just go into silence, into stillness. And just bring this in a little bit clearer. Just keep focusing on your sphere, your spine, your breath. When the mind wanders, just come back to your sphere. That's all we need to do. For some of you, it takes a little while for it to click in, this stillness. For others, you sense the environment changing almost immediately around you. It's quieter, not by audio, but within. Simpler, clearer, cleaner. And there's a openness that comes in. Possibilities. Just taking another breath in. And as this orientation holds, Awareness naturally widens to include the movement of life, but without losing its center now. You can even notice a difference from us always referencing externals than referencing now your internal, you in your body. Thoughts, plans, sensations, memories, all external activity, it all appears within the field at arm's length around you, while the internal position stays unchanged. It's here when something important becomes obvious. Experience keeps moving. We're in a dynamic reality. We're dynamic beings. There is no, I've arrived, we're done. It's always dynamic. Yet coherence remains. That center point. We have access to that at any time. It's our birthright. And then our spine, this vertical axis, continues to provide order, whereas the movement sustains a loop that keeps the system aligned. What happens, and that's why it's really, what I do here is more subquantum physics than anything spiritual connected to religion. Not against religion, I'm not for religion, it has its place, but it's certainly not very precise to the effect that no religious bodies can agree on anything. That's right away telling you it can't come from the highest principle, it can't come from pure source. Pure source of that realm, there's no duality, there's no polarity. I can't say that about religious bodies. Even science keeps changing its mind. So you can't really trust on what has been presented to us so far. Probably that's why there hasn't been a great benefit. There's maybe been some benefits, feeling more connected to something, not alone. But it's not dramatic. We deserve dramatic in a good way. Taking another breath in. And when we're in this position where we do the movement, the vertical axis keeps us aligned. What happens is that information arrives earlier, before thought needs to analyze it. Our buddy Buddha, he pointed to this when he spoke about right view and right orientation, not as morality. We've packaged it up in a very distorted way about good, bad, right, wrong. Nothing to do with that. But it's clarity. Clarity that arises when perception's clean. Even modern neuroscience mirrors this insight, showing that coherent nervous system, when you're in that coherent nervous system state, processes information more efficiently than reactive states. So here, what we're doing tonight in this transmission is nothing I've made up. It's ancient. I just received it. The ancient and the scientific meets in direct experience. And from my position, if you like the absolute view, Our pure blueprint, what that means for those of you who are new, our pure blueprint is before any distortions came in. It's before we were even created. As we have access to go to that pure blueprint, go to our origin. Our pure blueprint already exists as wholeness. It's complete. It's timeless. And then from the relative view, human life unfolds that wholeness through moments, choices, actions. And when orientation is stable, these two are no longer in conflict. They cooperate. And life begins to organize around clarity rather than what the mass consciousness does, what we've been indoctrinated into, rather than effort. We need to figure this out. We need to do this. Instead of letting it come to you, and then you are shown exactly what is the next, just the next step is to be taken. And allowing yourself another deep breath in. Again, feeling the airs in your lungs, you in your lungs, in the body. That's true. That's what we can, even with our five senses, navigate to, that we are in this physical body. Most of spirituality is go out of your body, leave your body, go explore. Kundalini yoga, out of your body. Most of these doctrines I discuss, leave your body. Well, there's no denying it. The only thing that is real is our body and this consciousness that's in it. So to me, that suggests this is where I should hang out. Another deep breath in. So let's allow this recognition to deepen and really land in the body and field. And just bringing this awareness in through the silence, the stillness. And again, just focus on your sphere and notice, observe with no judgment how you're feeling. Is that environment around you, has it shifted a little bit? Quieter, less conflict. Just taking another breath in and remaining orientated. Your awareness stays with position rather than activity. There's nothing to apply, nothing to test. The body already knows where it is. It's in the system. It recognizes it. Center of the sphere remains clear. The vertical line through our spine stays present without effort. And your attention is not moving forward to what comes next or backwards into what is past. Just rest exactly where it is. Present. And from here, notice how coherence expresses itself quietly, though. No showbiz stuff, no spiritual entertainment, none of that razzle dazzle that everybody thinks what being on the spiritual path is. It's very quiet. It's very still. It's very understated. It has nothing to perform to. There's no audience. Ask yourself the question, how much of what you do is for the audience? How much is what you do just for you? So here, where there is that coherence, notice if there's maybe a sense of organization without instruction. Perception feels even. Timing feels settled, not anxious for the next moment. Our awareness doesn't need to reach outwards, and nothing needs to be pulled inwards. Our frequency field, which is arm's length around us generally, remains stable and responsive. Not because it's being influenced, but because the position is clean. So let's stay here long enough to recognize this simple truth, that when our position's steady, us in our sphere, doing the movement coming down through the spine to the core of the earth, reversing back up, bringing these frequencies with us, stable, grounded, back to our sphere. That's when information arrives without effort. This isn't a thought, it's an orientation. Small adjustments in position create large differences in clarity. I'm going to say that again. By us shifting our position, by coming into our sphere, our spine, the movement, connecting, tuning in to Earth's frequencies. That's why we feel so good in nature, because it's perfectly present. It pulls us in. Earth's frequencies are just that, but on steroids. When we adjust that way, the result, the consequences, the reflection is that we receive vast differences in clarity. And this is where quiet realizations appear, not as insights to analyze, but as recognition already formed. When something comes into your awareness, and with clarity, which is what we're doing here, as you take a deep breath in, and just notice your whole body, you in your whole body. When awareness comes in like that's revealed, it's already done. It's appeared in your field. You're aware of it. You're conscious of it. At a frequency level, it's done. And what always has a time lag is it forming itself in density, the reality around you. That's always the last stop. The mass consciousness does it reverse. We want our reality around us, the money, the relationships, the health, the possibilities, the depression. We want all that to resolve first. It doesn't work like that. Because when you do it that way, you haven't shifted at a frequency level. So we're just going to recreate it all over again in a different flavor. But it's the same frequency signature. This can be applied to manifesting. So what we do here, we shift at a frequency level first. And then as a result, our reflection here in density, that shifts naturally without effort. So when positioned steady, information arrives without effort. And physics points to this through coherence and resonance, where systems organize naturally when internal order is stable. Quoted many times, David Bohm, but his work really resonates with what I do. Described an implicate order beneath appearances. In other words, where wholeness precedes expression. Here, that order is not an idea. It's present as lived stability. Taking another breath in, noticing your spine, noticing your sphere, noticing you right now, this second. It's the only thing that's real. All past versions of you no longer exist. Any future versions of you have not been created. So this very moment, this very second right now, is really all that is real in this density. So there's no need to move towards experience. Experience completes itself when awareness remains correctly placed. The movement continues as circulating loop through body, earth, spine, and center, radiating outwards to our frequency field, not as an effort, but as function. So just let this awareness settle. The body stays steady. Center of the sphere remains clear. The vertical axis through the spine is present. And the movement continues naturally, circulating and radiating without any interruption. Be disciplined on this, be focused on this, commit to this. Your life, your life will be beyond anything you could possibly imagine right now in the rule set that you exist in. And why? Because the pure blueprint remains whole. It's untouched. It's complete. That wholeness expresses itself as stability, simplicity, accurate timing. So nothing needs to be remembered. Orientation does the work. And our awareness, as we're bringing that in tonight's transmission, recognizes quiet intelligence of rhythm operating beneath events. It's the same principle musicians rely upon when tempo guides the movement, and scientists observe when systems synchronize. So in quantum biology, coherence allows processes to communicate efficiently. And what we do here, coherence allows experience to complete cleanly, moment by moment. Effort, something that we've been trained. If you receive something and you haven't had to use effort, sacrifice, take on burdens, well, then it doesn't really have that much merit. is in fact the opposite. Effort shortens perspective. Our orientation, which has nothing to do with you being a good person or a bad person, or doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, or choosing these preferences versus those bad preferences. It's all ridiculous conversation. It's by where we're placing ourselves. How centered are we? How centered are we with a wholer version of you? Some people call that the timeless self, higher power, spirit. I've come to realize through my own direct experience that it's none of those. It's me, but a wholer, complete version of me that I have access to now. I don't go anywhere. I don't leave my body. There's nothing in some other realm waiting for me. It's all right here. And I finally have arrived. Taking a breath in. So it's our orientation. As orientation widens, experience feels spacious and responsive without any commentary, without any analysis, without the monkey mind constantly looking, scanning for flaws, constantly being in that survival mode. And again, this mirrors teachings attributed to Buddha. He said that. What did he say? He said, it was just on the tip of my field. No, absolutely attributed to Buddha, who pointed towards freedom through correct seeing rather than force. I like Buddha's perspective a lot. Modern neuroscience also. Its findings showing that regulated systems support clear cognition. None of them talk about you got to figure this out. You got to get a PhD. You got to go into some doctrine and figure out all the chants and the philosophies and what God do you pray to, or which ones do you stay away from, or have to defend yourself from. When you go through these masters and you get down to really what they were saying, whether it's Buddha, Christ, Muhammad, Abraham, whether it's any of the religions, the Kabbalah, or really all of them as I'm scanning, and also going through any sort of science, quantum physics. When you really make your way through all of the noise, it gets to the same point. It's us. All is within. And now you're being shown how to navigate to that precision point. Once you navigate there and you hang out there, the transmission for the wholer self comes through without distortion. Again, the problem is, as I mentioned, most people are not even close to that point. They're not even in their body. They're not in this timeline. They're not in the present moment. So how can they receive any sort of transmission with accuracy? And that's where all the distortions come in. And then we start believing there's Satan and there's all these things against us, separate. Look around the universe. This higher, clear intelligence. Even look at nature. Nature doesn't have discussions about separateness, about some other force waiting to attack it. The universe, from what we can see with our five physical senses, seems to be in perfect synchronicity. There seems to be this harmony, this alignment. The sun, we see it every morning. The moon, we see it in the evening. The seasons, they're consistent. We're always supplied with oxygen to breathe. We can have oxygen, we wouldn't be here, but we always have it. We always have water. Everything's always supplied to us with this perfect harmony. It doesn't have the stories. We humans, we're buried under stories. Taking a breath in. So we orientate, become more precise in space and time. That's everything the space-time is about that I do. So take another breath in. So if you like, the arc of this transmission tonight completes itself naturally. Orientation stabilizes the body and the field. Coherence has refined perception. And then integration occurred without instruction. What we did tonight, we didn't settle with a concept. But what happened tonight is a reference point has been established that remains available beyond tonight's session. And this version never leaves the room. It never jumps timelines, never assumes action. It never tells people what life will be like later. It lets coherence finish itself. And I'll leave everybody here. And I'll see you all next week.